So today is the day of the memorial service in Phoenix, Arizona for Charlie Kirk after he was murdered. And as you can see, Elon Musk is there and a lot of people are there. Like, this is just a packed arena full of people. And I've been watching some of the live streams that have been coming out of it. They've had lots of bands playing, and it's very, very Christian, very American, and very touching, very heartwarming. This really has struck a deep chord across the right for all of the right reasons. Because again, you can say what you like about Charlie Kirk, but even the left and Ezra Klein have had to admit, yeah, he was doing democracy right. That was the point of democracy, is to discuss the issues and see where the chips fall. Now, a lot of people have been watching this. A lot of people. But I suspect these are basically all going to be Republicans. Because even though the left actually seem to have caused this, I don't know what to say, retrenchment on the right, I don't really feel like much has actually changed. At least not in the nature of the discourse itself. Just a quick thing on this. This genuinely is a superb meme. Charlie Kirk being like, look, let's talk. I'm not sure I'm here to bridge the gap is exactly accurate, but he was sometimes being a debate bro, but other times he would be very conciliatory and kind. So it's not entirely inaccurate. But that's, the charitable interpretation. And then, of course, someone shoots him from the left, probably. They shot him, and your side needs to turn the temperature down. As in, when they say you need to turn the temperature down, what they're saying is you need to agree with us, or else the difference between us is irreconcilable. And the right is currently enjoying their victory lap and the dominance this has given them. Now, completely reasonable for them to do this. And I just want to talk about this comic for a minute. Hello, friends. I have, through no outside influence, decided to stop criticizing Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. Trump is a great leader and totally not a dictator at all. Now say you're donating to Turning Point USA. And I'll be donating to Turning Point USA. Yeah. And Black Lives Matter raised $1 billion. All right? Just acting as if this is something, oh my God, how is this happening? Yeah, you made everyone worship transgenders and black people. You literally held them hostage. Black Lives Matter, the riots, caused over $1 billion in damage. And then another $1 billion was funneled to various Black Lives Matter causes. And this was all done with the threat of violence. Derek Chauvin is basically a political prisoner. Because I personally think that George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. In the car, before he was even on the ground, he was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And yet, given the politicized environment around his death by the left, Derek Chauvin was going to jail whether you like it or not. And even though there's no evidence that there was a racially motivated killing or anything like that, this was inevitable. And the right is now having its sort of George Floyd moment. And the left are like, oh no, we're being basically held hostage by the fact that someone who is very clearly left-wing shot Charlie Kirk. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, you get what you deserve, and you're not actually being prevented from criticizing Donald Trump or MAGA or anything like that at all. I mean, that's why you're able to make this comic, in fact. The very nature of the existence of the comic disproves the point it's trying to make. If you weren't allowed to criticize Trump and MAGA, this comic wouldn't exist and you would have gone to jail. But of course, that's not going to happen. I'm trying to... The thing is that the left has not accepted anything about this. They accept that what has happened is political, but they have not conceded any ground whatsoever. I mean, you've got articles like this in The Guardian. The students who debated with Charlie Kirk when he was on the Jubilee episode, his goal was to verbally defeat us. well, okay, but your goal was to verbally defeat him. And what's fascinating is the way that they've got these people giving their opinions. Kirk applied basic rules of civility to his debate style, asking opponents their name and saying it was nice to meet them. He engaged young people in political discourse at a time when society had been split bitterly into bitterly antagonistic camps. Well, who did that? Who was responsible for splitting society into bitterly antagonistic camps? The left, obviously. And it's not that the right hasn't met the left at every stage, and in fact that's again what we are seeing, is the right meeting the left at every stage, but it is the left that definitely took that first step to say, right, you're a bad person for not agreeing with feminism or Black Lives Matter or transgenderism or whatever. You are a bad person. In fact, the very next line, his critics are taking issue with any version of his legacy that does not account for the bigoted nature of his arguments. Listen, no one is compelled to agree with what liberals think are bigoted. Liberals have not even demonstrated that bigotry itself is wrong or inaccurate or anything like that. Like, to have prejudices is normal, and liberals have plenty of prejudices, and it's in fact hard to imagine how you would navigate reality without some form of prejudice. I mean, I can't help but remember Edmund Burke's defense of the concept of prejudice, saying, look, what prejudices are the inherited wisdom of tradition. Tell you, look, this particular thing, whatever it is, going down this road, actually has consequences, even if in the moment it doesn't appear that it does. And so there is a kind of cultural warning in the nature of our prejudices. Now, I'm not saying that means we should be mean to anyone, that we should be cruel or hard to anyone. I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm saying is, we have to choose the paradigm of right and wrong that we are going to operate our society by, and a paradigm that will not accept any inherited wisdom from the past is probably a paradigm that doesn't really have all the answers, and would have to, in fact, fabricate entirely new answers to all of the old problems that are raised. And why would we need to do that? Like, we would only need to do that if one side rejects the legitimacy of everything that came before it. And so just declaring, well, his arguments were bigoted. Okay, if you can think what you want, but that just means we disagreed with him. That's all this comes down to. We disagreed with Charlie Kirk. Yeah, we know you did. Very publicly, in fact. He was a figure of hate on the left, which is probably why he was shot. And this persistent hatred hasn't gone away. They haven't changed their minds. They haven't conceded. Actually, yeah, maybe we were wrong on any particular issue. And this is great. I don't think Charlie entered debates to come to a common consensus or to discover truth, says the people who think that men can become women. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't agree with your metaphysical conceptions of the world. Like, the way that you think the world is, I think is wrong. Because your view of the world is actually not descriptive, it is prescriptive. You are here to essentially destroy everything that came before, and you have rendered everything that came before as what you would say is problematic. This thing intercedes in my instantiation of liberal values. I'm trying to bring about the most perfect form of liberal values, and reality itself is in the way, which is of course the entire point of liberalism, to change reality, and therefore everything about reality that is true and has been inherited from the past is bigoted, and the truth, as far as they're concerned, is the liberal fictions that brought them to the point where they think all of human history is basically wrong. So I don't know. I mean, what kind of common consensus are you going to come to? And is that actually the point of debates anyway, coming to a common consensus? I would have thought that would be the purpose of discourse or dialogue. But a debate is a verbal sparring match. It's a way of throwing down, and everyone knows it. That's why debates are fun and interesting, to see who is actually good at them. And so, You can get Trent Webb, the professor of writing studies and rhetoric and director of the speech and debate team at Hofstra University. And it's like, oh, right. So is if you've ever seen university debating teams, they speak really fast and just throw out as much rhetoric as they possibly can. Is that about getting to the truth? Is that about arriving at consensus? The answer is quite obviously no. But he says, at its core, debate is meant to be an academic exercise, with the goal to be forthright and genuine in the information you present. Well, I think that Charlie Kirk was, and I think the problem isn't actually the things he was saying, it's the interpretation of reality that Charlie Kirk had. He was not a liberal. You are liberals. You have a fundamentally different interpretation of reality, if you can even sense reality, and this means that you can't really have a proper conversation with him. And you've at no point admitted that the issue is that you are primed to never really agree with him. Because Charlie will appeal to something normal, traditional, conservative, and you will say, well, those things are bigoted. You will literally declare everything that he believes about the reality of the world to be bigoted. You'll be like, no, this is prejudicial. It's like, maybe, but that's not saying it's false. And I mean, this thing, look at this. In a good faith debate, the final goal is to reach consensus. No, because consensus might not be the truth. Truth and consensus may be diametrically opposed, in fact, which is when they complain about, well, it entered with leading questions that were intended to elicit strong emotions. What is a woman? That's such a ridiculous thing that you have an emotional hang-up over. How is defining a woman, like the natural category of woman, something that you get strong emotions elicited from? I'm just like, well, it's an adult human female. Like, it's, I mean, half the human race are females, are women, and like, you don't, in any normal time or place, in any other time of the world, really, would you ever have to even ask that question? Because the answer is just so self-evident. It would seem trivial. And yet, modern liberals are like, oh, this is eliciting strong emotions from me. What is a woman? Oh, you just are hateful. It's like, no, he's a person who just wants to understand the world around him. He believes that there is an objective reality and that we have access to it. And honestly, on this, I think he's correct. And if you don't agree with that, how can we come to a consensus? How could it possibly be done that in a good faith debate, the goal is to reach consensus? No, it's to reach truth. Who is correct in what they are saying? Who is incorrect about what they are saying? Again, they're acting as if debates are, in fact, good faith dialogues, which is not the case. Debates are a spectacle, and everyone knows that. And so anyway, they go on and just say, well, you know, he got this wrong, he got that wrong, blah, 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 blah. A lot of academics would consider it to be an exercise in futility. But it's not about persuading the other person. It's about persuading the audience that you are correct and they are not correct. And in that, Charlie Kirk was phenomenally successful. And this is what their problem is. Okay, we couldn't persuade Charlie Kirk because fundamentally, axiomatically, the things that we believe are the opposite of the things he believes. And now we're going to criticize him for not coming to a consensus with us in our false beliefs, in our alchemical beliefs that are designed not to describe reality but to change it. And so, okay, they have accepted nothing from this. They have learned nothing from this. They have changed their minds on nothing from this. And in fact, they are just going to spend their time attacking his memory because as far as they're concerned, he was a bigot. So, okay, great. Right. So again, what have we actually learned here? Well, at least we've learned that the American right has been, I don't say polarized, but I can't think of a better term, has been unified on this. At least they understand that, I think, and I really think this is the takeaway for the American right. The left will not come to an agreement with you. They will not concede your position. No matter what happens, no matter what people in their ranks do, they will never concede that you are right about something because they have defined a priori themselves to be correct on every issue, even if reality doesn't represent what they're saying. They will say, well, morally, it's correct for me to say and do what I'm doing. And even if reality does represent what your side is saying, they will say, well, morally, that's incorrect, and therefore it must change. And it doesn't matter how deep those changes have to be. If that means literally changing the very nature of the physical form, so a man can feel like a woman and a woman can feel like a man, whatever it is, they will go there. They are not bound by any of the normal conventions of not just reality, civil society, or anything like that. They're not bound by anything like that, and they don't think like that. And so they will not learn a thing from the right's unification on the issue of Charlie Kirk. And so you just have to remember that these are implacable enemies to your worldview. I mean, they were literally before, the morning is even over, you'll get Ilhan Omar going like, yeah, well, his beliefs should be in the dustbin of history, and we should move on. It's like, what do you mean the dustbin of history? His beliefs are you should get married and have children. Ilhan Omar has been married to her brother and has children from other men. Like, she is living, in part, the life that Charlie Kirk would recommend, and somehow he's still wrong. Like, these people, they've learned nothing, they have no empathy for the other side, and they see you just as a roadblock. I mean, they will propagandize your children, they will deplatform you, they will eventually shoot you, and they don't have any remorse of any of this. Like, have you seen a single bit of remorse? The closest I've seen is Sean Head, but she's not one of these people. She just she actually bought into the kind of the lie of the left, which is, I want nice things for people. I want people to be, have things they need and be provided for, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay. But that's not what we're dealing with here. That's not what any of these people actually believe. All of their political activism is designed to destroy the previous order and create something that has no limits or boundaries. And it's like, okay, but that's horrific. That is a horrific nightmare vision of the future for all sorts of different reasons, and they don't care. I mean, do you think Ilhan Omar applies liberalism to Somalia? Do you think she's liberal when she's in Somalia? Of course she's not. She is just a fifth columnist. These are just morons who don't understand what they're doing and what they're facilitating and what it is that they're destroying. But anyway, like I was saying at the beginning, I think the American right, and the right more broadly, needs to reflect on what Charlie Kirk's murder actually means to them in the context of this ongoing culture war against the left, against what it is that the right wants to see in the future and what they're going to have to deal with. There just is no trying to persuade the people of the left to your position. The best that you can do is, like Charlie Kirk was doing, is demonstrate their position in juxtaposition to your own, and hopefully the people watching will go, yeah, okay, that guy does seem mental. I think probably Charlie is a bit more he's a bit more correct about things than these absolute lunatics who hold nothing sacred other than their set of abstract and fanciful beliefs. So maybe, just maybe, that will help, and that will help. Maybe there's going to be a big cultural shift after this. And if ever there was a moment that could happen, it's now. It's in the wake of this. So that would be nice. But like I said, the people on the right, I think we need to have a reflection on exactly what it is we expect from this. Because I think a lot of people are expecting the left to give some ground on this. And they've given no ground. They've just dug their heels in completely and said, well, he's a bigot, he deserved it, we don't care. Which, I mean, they viewed this as an intrinsically political issue. Because it is an intrinsically political issue. And there's no amount of things happening in reality that can dislodge them from their ideological position. So take that into account and think about it.